Welcome, everyone. Adrienne, I am so excited for the world to get to know you better. My name is Jessie Shafer. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been working with Adrienne for more than a year now on this amazing product called Struesli. So let's start talking about you, Adrienne Lufkin. Where's home for you?
Home for me is, well, first of all, thank you, Jessie, for taking the time to spend with me. You're just a great support and friend, and I'm so happy to be here with you. So home for me is Litchfield County, Connecticut. It's it's this perfect spot between New York City and a little bit from the ocean, which is my happy place. So it's got that small town feel, and it's just a beautiful place to be creative and be outside and be close to nature.
Well, it must be such a source of inspiration for you because streusel is something that you created right out of your own kitchen, but now it has grown to be something much more than that. It's finally available to the world. So let's talk a little bit about you. You definitely have, you know your way around the kitchen. So how do you know your way around the kitchen so much? And let's talk a little bit about your career path and how you got to be the inventor of Struesli.
Well, I was a private chef for many years. I first started in a restaurant on Nantucket called 21 Federal, working with some amazing chefs in New England, and really got the culinary bug, I guess you'd say. And after I finished my undergraduate degree at Fordham, I went directly to culinary school in New York City. I went to the French Culinary Institute, and from there I built my clientele and cooked for high profile clients all over the country. And a lot of these clients had dietary restrictions and health issues. So over the course of my career, I learned how to cook gluten free and grain free, and for diabetics and for people with inflammatory conditions. So that actually helped me because I have Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory condition. And so all of those ingredients sort of went into the creation of Struesli.
That's so fascinating. So you learned your way to cook around these special diets and still create something that is so delicious because there was a need for it. And you also had a personal need for it. Did you always kind of have the creation of a brand new food product kind of in the back of your mind? Is that something you always wanted to create?
Not in particular, but more and more, I realized that there really wasn't a granola out there that checked all the boxes for me. And so I realized I'm making something already for myself and my family that that everybody loves, that tastes delicious, and is a combination of ingredients that many of us have and use. And maybe other people might like it too and benefit from it. And it sort of snowballed from there. Honestly, I didn't know I wanted to create Struesli, but I knew that a better granola didn't exist and that I had the ability to create it for myself and for my family and for you. And I thought, why not me? So here it is.
You're you're so right. And I think when people say a better granola, really, because I think granola has a little bit of a health aura to it. It's a, it's a term that we call people from hippies from the 70s, our granola, because that's when there really was the start of this better food movement. But granola really isn't a better product for you. Can you talk a little bit about how you knew that it could be better?
Yeah, we do. We do think granola is a health food, and um, we all have it. It's a staple in many of our homes. And I created Struesli to give you a choice and to give you the power of what's inside. Many granolas have added sweeteners or inflammatory oils, and I just came to a point where I decided that's not good enough. And there has to be a better way. And that better way is Struesli.
So let's dig into those ingredients in Struesli a little bit more. But let's start by describing what Struesli is in a few words. What's your elevator pitch?
Well, I crafted Struesli with the intention of using the highest quality ingredients to fit a variety of dietary lifestyles and restrictions, and also to be incredibly versatile, but most importantly, to taste amazing. Because if it doesn't taste amazing, you're not going to want to eat it. So, and again, the truly important thing about Struesli is that there's no added sugar or sweetener of any kind, which you'd be hard pressed to find another granola that says that.
Okay, so I'm sure many people are wondering about the name Struesli. It's not a word that we've heard before. So what is that word Struesli and how did you come up with it?
You're right. It's not a word you've heard before because I totally made it up. It's a word mash between the word streusel and muesli. We all know what a streusel is, kind of a crumbly topping, and we know what a muesli is, a cereal made up of nuts and seeds, and often you eat it when you're in Europe. So I kind of mashed those words together and came up with the word Struesli while I was on a walk one day with the dogs. It sort of popped in my head and I thought, that's it. That's what it's called. It's called Struesli.
I love it. And now it's almost like, is that a word? It should be added to the dictionary,
I
right?
think it should be.
I think one of the amazing things about Streusel, and once you taste it, all the possibilities of how you can use it start to come to mind. You know, we see that often where people say, oh, I'm going to use it for this, or I'm going to use it for that. So, what are some ways, maybe some typical ways and some less typical ways that people can use Streusel?
That's actually one of the redefining attributes of Struesli is its versatility. Unlike most conventional granolas that have a crunchy, sugary coating or are super sweet, Struesli doesn't have that. It's a little looser and more granular, which lends itself to a variety of applications, both savory and sweet. So a traditional use would be on a yogurt bowl or a smoothie bowl or on your chia pudding. But it's also really delicious on a cottage cheese bowl or avocado toast, or even paired with
Mm.
really yummy burrata cheese, especially the original blend. Um, really, really, however you want to incorporate this combination of delicious superfoods in your day, it's convenient and easy to do and a delicious way to do it in Struesli.
So Streusel is so many things. I was kind of keeping track as you were talking. It could be a topper. It could be a mix in for baked goods. It could be a snack on its own. And it's kind of like a condiment to add just that delicious flavor and nutrition boost to so many things. You definitely did not skimp on ingredients. Why were top quality ingredients, ingredient standards so important to you?
Well, high quality ingredients are important to me because that's what I want to eat, and that's what I want my kids to eat, and that's what I want for you to eat, Jessie, and your family and everybody. So why would I skimp on quality?
And to your point about such high quality ingredients, one way that people who are buying it can know that right off the shelf is because you can see these certifications that are not easy to get, right, Adrienne? I'm talking about the USDA Organic Certified certification. I'm talking about the fact that Streusel is certified gluten free and it's 100% plant based. So, why were these certifications important to you? And why is that important to someone who's shopping for a better granola?
Well, to be honest, Jessie, these are certifications that I personally look for when I'm shopping for anything really. So it was really important to me to have them on Struesli. It conveys, as you said, high standards, high quality, and that extra effort to show you that that's what we're about.
Okay, so Struesli is granola redefined. What are some of the unique attributes about Struesli?
Well, the first unique attribute is that we swapped out the oats and we put in tiger nuts, which are not actually a nut, but a tuber. They're the size of a tiny chickpea, and they have a really naturally sweet taste, a mild taste, sort of like an almond. So that gives Streusel the base of the natural sweetness. We also put in pecans and walnuts and flaked coconut and a little hint of flaked sea salt, which kind of counterbalances the natural sweetness and brings out all those toasty, delicious flavors. We also added coconut oil and a little bit of coconut butter, which marries all these flavors amazingly. And it has a loose, crispy texture, which lends itself to blending into your yogurt bowl or your pancake batter or topping your soup. So it has so many amazing attributes. But the main attribute that was really important to me was no added sweetener or sugar.
So, Adrienne, I've heard you say this that Struesli doesn't contain added sugars or sweeteners of any kind. I think people might be a little surprised to learn that because a lot of times, even if you don't have a sweetener like brown sugar, cane sugar, honey, maple syrup, then you'll get something like stevia or a sugar alcohol. So, can you tell us a little bit more? Are there really no added sugars or sweeteners in Struesli?
It's true. There's really no added sweetener or sugar of any kind in Streusel. And I have to say, it's very frustrating when you see all these packaged foods, granola, or any other foods on the shelf that say sugar free, no refined sugar. To me, that's just code for when you turn it around, there's some other sugary ingredient
Mhm.
in there. And I wanted to create a product that you can be sure and you can be confident that there's no code, there's no sneaky sweeteners. You can turn it around and you can see there's no added sugars of any kind. And it gives me the power to add what I want if I want to. And it also gives you the power and the choice.
Well, thank you for that. I wish there were more products out there that didn't have the added sugars or sweeteners because we all know if you really want it, you can add it, right? Or you can add it in a more natural way by adding a little bit of fruit or something on top. So
Right.
to have streusel as an option in that granola category is absolutely redefining, like you've been saying. So, what are you hearing about Struesli? What have people been saying to you, and what's the reaction when they first taste it?
The most meaningful reaction that I've been getting, whether it's in person or um, through email or what have you, is thank you, which which is the simplest thing, but the most meaningful. Really, is thank you for making Streusel.
Right, because that means that it's something that was needed. It's something that's solving a problem. It's something that's hitting home with so many people. I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about something you mentioned before, which was tiger nuts. Now, these are such a unique ingredient. People might not have heard of it before, and they might be surprised to learn it's not a nut and it's not a bean. So, could you tell us a little bit about what tiger nuts are and what's the amazing health benefits that they're delivering?
Tiger nuts are actually a tuber, and they're tiny, but they pack a powerful punch. They're the size of a chickpea, and they're naturally sweet, and they are full of resistant prebiotic starch, which we all know are really good for our guts. And they have a really healthy amount of fiber, which is good for regulating blood sugar and helping with our cholesterol and all sorts of micronutrients, which Jessie, you would know about because this is your world as well, being a dietitian. And but they're just a better choice than a grain, honestly, and what I want to eat on a regular basis.
So you've replaced the typical oats that you would find in a granola recipe or any granola product that's out there with this thing that looks a little bit like you described it as a shrivelly chickpea, but I'm not seeing chickpeas inside of Struesli. So what have you done to these tiger nuts?
In Struesli, they're sliced. So they're airy and light, and that's what gives Struesli the amazing texture that it has. It's just this kind of crispy, light texture.
Yeah. And what does a tiger nut taste like?
It tastes like a very mild, sweet almond is the closest thing I could say. Maybe a combination between an almond and coconut.
So, Adrienne, I'm holding up two different canisters of Struesli, one that's white and one that's black. Can you tell us about these two flavors that are available?
Well, we have the original, which started it all. It's the blend of all those ingredients that I mentioned before. That's the sliced tiger nuts and the pecans and the walnuts and the coconut flakes. And we have hemp hearts and chia seeds and flax meal. And it's all the ingredients really that many of us have in our pantry. And we try to incorporate in our day somehow. But with Struesli, it's conveniently put together in one easy, delicious step. So that was sort of the thought process behind the original blend. And then the cacao and coffee has all the same ingredients of the original blend, but I thought I really want to have a more robust, strong flavor profile, and I wanted to add some of my favorite good for you nutrient dense ingredients. So we all know that cacao nibs and unsweetened cocoa powder and really good single origin organic coffee has all these amazing benefits for you. So I took the original recipe and I added in these amazing ingredients on top of it and came up with the cacao and coffee blend. And it has quite a cult following. People have come to realize that the rich, earthy, robust flavor marries beautifully and kind of counterbalances with a sweet yogurt or a fruity yogurt or an acai bowl or something leaning on the sweet side because this is a little more earthy and robust. So it's kind of a match made in heaven.
I have to tell you, Adrienne, it is such a delicious and unique flavor. It does not taste like sweet chocolate. You're right. One of my favorite ways to have this flavor of Struesli is over a lemon yogurt with a few raspberries. And
Mm.
that is just a little taste of heaven right there. So let's talk a little bit more about the versatility. You talked about the many ways that you can use Struesli, but let's talk about the versatility and how many people can actually enjoy this granola since it's a grain-free granola with no added sugars or sweeteners of any kind. It's also gluten-free, 100% plant-based. So who are some people who could finally enjoy this granola?
Well, that was one of the motivating driving factors behind crafting Struesli. And also, my experience and my background as a private chef working for clients with dietary restrictions and health issues, I really wanted to create something that as many people as possible could add to their day. So it is appealing and fits into those that are doing a heart healthy diet or those that are diabetic. My father's diabetic, but he has this every day. If you're following a paleo lifestyle or keto, if you have celiac, if you are trying to follow an anti-inflammatory diet, as I am, so it really kind of covers the gamut for as many lifestyles and restrictions as possible. And that was really important to me.
So, Adrienne, the packaging that Struesli comes in is so unique. I mean, you'll see granolas out there in your traditional cereal boxes, in kind of that brown craft paper bag, or even a lot of plastic bags out there. But what is this container that Struesli comes in, and why did you choose it?
I'm so glad you like it, Jessie. A lot of thought went into this packaging, and, you know, as a lot of thought went into the ingredients. And I thought, well, I want to redefine what is on the inside as well as redefine how it looks on the outside. And I wanted a package that kind of stood out in the sea of bags and made you want to pick it up and made you curious about what is this paper tube, and read it and hopefully put it in your cart and buy it and try it.
Well, absolutely. I think it definitely catches your eye when you see streusel. So it comes in these tubes. I've heard you say tubers in a tube because you've got the tiger nuts in there that are a tuber, a root vegetable.
One thing I do want to add about the tubes, or the tubers in a tube, is that it was important to me to have a package that is versatile and portable. So I travel a lot. My kids, my daughter goes away to school and she sticks it in the pocket of her backpack. I can throw this in my carry-on bag and take it on the plane with me, or when I'm, staying at someone's house or something. It's just very easy to kind of toss in your bag, toss in your luggage, and take it with you where you go. And because you don't always have the choices or the options where you're traveling to, which is another motivating factor behind me creating Struesli. Was I just wanted to have this with me everywhere I went. And friends have told me that they reuse the tubes, and I reuse the tubes for other snacks. My kids have reused it for their pencils and their arts and crafts kind of thing. And a good friend of mine told me that she wraps the tube in gift wrap and then can use it for a gift, which is kind of a cool idea.
I love that. I love that. And the design itself is so beautiful and classy. So I haven't seen any other granolas that look like this, that have this kind of beautiful design. What did you want to convey with that classy design?
I wanted it to look good, look good everywhere, like on a grocery store shelf or in a boutique health food store. Like I kind of wanted in a spa. So I kind of wanted it to, that was sort of the theory behind the design, was that it is so chic and sort of sophisticated that it can live anywhere.
Now, Adrienne, Struesli was invented in your own kitchen, but it's not still being made in your own kitchen. So, as a small batch granola, where is Struesli being made these days?
It's now being made in a commercial kitchen, which I'm attending every batch that we make. I'm there to make sure that it's exactly how I want it to taste.
So, Adrienne, how can someone get their hands on Struesli?
A couple ways. You can go on struesli.com. You can go on amazon.com. You can go to our website and find if there's a retailer near you that carries it. But if you order from struesli.com, it ships the next day.
So, Adrienne, let's talk about what's next for Struesli. A creative culinary person like you is always thinking of what's next. So, what's rolling around in your head next for Struesli?
You're right, Jessie. I definitely have a few ideas up my sleeve. One that's coming out pretty soon. It's called Savory and Seed, and I think you're going to love it.
Thank you so much, Adrienne, for letting the world get to know you better. Thank you for telling us the story behind Struesli and for creating Struesli. Thank you to all of you who out there who are listening, who have tried Struesli and who have helped spread the word about it. Make sure you go to struesli.com because we're always adding new recipes, great ways to use Struesli. Those are created by Adrienne herself. We're adding new content and we're adding new articles to the website all the time. So Adrienne, I'll give you the final word.
Thanks, Jessie, for taking the time to visit with me and allowing me to share my story behind the creation of Struesli. Everybody's support and feedback means the world to me and helps motivate me. So please follow us on Instagram. It helps so much more than you know.
Yeah.